Good evening and welcome to episode 129 of the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm your host, Howard Kravitz. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. We have a jam-packed show. I am very excited to present to you episode 129 tonight with our very special guest. Before we bring him on, let's talk about a few things very quickly. I know we have a lot of new people to the show. Thanks so much for joining the HHH Racing Podcast family. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 plus subscribers. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Also hit the notification bell so you know when new content will rise. And then, of course, smash that thumbs up button, which will tell YouTube this is a great show. Of course, you can reach me on Twitter, as you see on my name tag, at @HKravitz. And on the scroll on the bottom of the screen, you will see my email if you'd like to contact me that way, as you can see it about right now, hkravitzhorse@gmail.com. Many ways to check out the show if you'd like to listen to the show, of course. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor. Please make sure you subscribe there. As you know, we have a race day blog, and there's all sorts of information that I will put below the video player right after the show. So please make sure you check out the Show More button below the video player for all the promotions that we have, including the race day blog right there. And then, of course, if you don't know what's happening with me personally this weekend, part of the reason why we have this wonderful guest here coming on tonight is this weekend I will be traveling, actually tomorrow, to the beautiful Commonwealth of Kentucky, going to Lexington for many reasons. Saturday, I'll be going to Coolmore to see American Pharoah and a few horses, and then competing in the Grade 1 Gamble, which is a big live money handicapping contest on Saturday. And then Sunday, I'll be going to the fantastic Claiborne Farm to see many fantastic stallions. And then my first appearance ever on national TV on TVG Sunday afternoon with Todd Schrupp. Time TBA. I'm going to find out tomorrow, Friday, ladies and gentlemen, when I'll exactly be on. I'm guessing it's going to be in the later part of the afternoon when Todd Schrupp is on set. So I'm very excited to be on the TVG set live at Keeneland. That's going to be fantastic. There is the banner for that. April 24th is, of course, this Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have many things that I'd like to talk about here. Okay, I have a message from my guest about the audio. As far as I know, the audio should be good. For those people that are listening right now, if anyone is having any issues with my audio, I know that Jim Pillars has already commented, Charles B. If anyone is listening right now, very briefly, if you could just comment if my sound is okay, I greatly appreciate it. My guest had mentioned that there's something might be wrong with my sound. As far as I know, on my end, the sound is good. Again, I'll just wait for any quick messages. If I don't hear any messages from anyone, okay, our guest said the sound is good. Perhaps that was something. Okay, and so everyone looks like the sound is good. We had a few technical difficulties from our guest, but it looks like everything's okay. So while all the technicalities are good and the sound is good and the video is good, I don't think there's any crazy storms going on in Kentucky right now. Although the weather this spring has been not great, but this weekend, of course, they got to take care of me. It's gonna be like 80 and sunny all weekend for the first time because I'm coming, right? We can't have this like 40 and rain or this nonsense weather that we've had this spring. Let's go ahead. I'm just double checking a few things on my end. Again, I apologize here. All right, I think we are all ready to bring on our guest. Listen, we've had a lot of fantastic people and guests on this show. This clearly is going to be one of the highlights because we are about to bring on a gentleman who is an executive. He is the president of Claiborne Farm, one of the most famous, if not the most famous farms in the entire country and world. I'd like to welcome to the HHH Racing Podcast, President Walker Hancock. Walker, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Hey, Howard, how are you doing? Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you great. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry about that. I was having trouble there a minute ago.
Nah, it's no problem. Listen, everyone, the entire HHH Racing Podcast community, thanks you very much for taking the time to come on tonight. I had the pleasure to meet you, of course, at the Pegasus if you recall, in January. And I took some slack on Twitter because I said it's really cold in Florida when we went there, and people from Chicago and Kentucky were saying, "Well, is it?" It's not 10, it's not 20, but if you recall, I mean, there were winter jackets. It was pretty chilly that day, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean that was the coldest I've ever experienced South Florida. I was leaving my hotel and the lady downstairs walked outside for a second and she turned back around and said, "Oh, I got to go get my ski coat." I think it was like 50 degrees, but still for them that's ski coat weather.
It was. Well, I think Bernie Sams, I think, was with you, and I know you had many people there. That was very exciting. So again, it was a pleasure. You took the time to talk to me for a few minutes and suggested I, contact you, and appreciate you coming on the podcast. We have some questions that you're going to see on the bottom of the screens, Walker. We're going to incorporate many viewer questions. We have a lot of people watching right now live on YouTube. If you have any questions at all for Walker Hancock, the president of Claiborne Farms, please make sure that you comment. We have Charles B. Is here. Charles B. Thanks for joining the show. We've got a lot of people. Again, please make sure any comments you type in the chat on the top right-hand side of the screen. I will have Mr. Hancock answer as many questions as possible. We have a lot of things to get to. So he'd like to be called Walker. So we're gonna be informal tonight. Walker, you'll see questions on the bottom of the screen. Let's talk about the beginning here. So farm life is not easy. There's a huge, obviously, many generations of Hancocks. Talk a little about your childhood and what it was like to live on such a famous farm.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was very lucky that I grew up on the farm. I, the house I grew up in, my mom and dad still live in. It's just pretty about a mile and a half from me. I live on the farm currently as well, but it was cool. I love going to the foaling barn at nights with my dad. He'd always check in and see what kind of mares were stirring around, who might foal. I loved getting. I used to get a quarter for every gate that I opened when we go through the fields and look at the horses and foals. He'd give me a quarter, and then at the end of the day, I usually had enough to go buy like a Mountain Dew and like a Snickers at the vending machine down at the shop. So that was always fun, and yeah, it was just I got to play in the creeks and the barn lofts and run around, ride my bike all over the place, and it was just I was very lucky, a lot of fun.
Yeah, usually if you invite a friend over, you play video games or whatever. If you invite a friend over, you can, hey, let's check out the Stallions. Let's run in the fields. I mean, there's so many neat things you can do. The lineage of Claiborne Farm is tremendous. We could take an hour talking about it, but I did some deep diving research. This is like the 60 Minutes Walker of Horse Racing podcast. I do my homework, even though I'm familiar with yourself and Claiborne Farm. I did more research. Richard Johnson Hancock, who goes way back many generations, was a captain for the Confederacy in the Civil War. So quite the history in your family.
Yeah, he was captain for Stonewall Jackson and was actually wounded at the Battle of Gettysburg. And
Wow.
his field nurse that took care of him inherited the farm, the original farm in Charlottesville, Virginia, which is called Ellerslie Stud. And yeah, so we go back for basically right after the Civil War. I'm fifth generation horseman, but fourth generation here at the farm in Paris.
We have a question right from Jim, and again, I'm going to incorporate viewer questions, Walker, with my own questions. This is a question from Jim Pilars, who's a big viewer of the show. He's from Buffalo, Walker. I know you have a great online site online that we're actually going to be looking at, but I don't know if you just want to quickly address the question about tours really quickly.
Yeah, you can go to our website, www.claibornefarm.com, and we actually offer multiple tours a day, one at 10, one at 11, and then sometimes when demand calls for it, we'll have one at noon. That's for the Stallion tour. We also offer a shuttle tour where you go on this basically elongated golf cart, and it will take you throughout the farm, and you'll get to see the mares and foals playing in the fields and the old training barn, starting gate, and get a little more history and more scenic views.
Yeah, Jim, I can say firsthand, I've been to Claiborne once. I'll be there for the second time Sunday. The tour is fantastic. I just had the regular guided tour. You get to see many things. It ends at the cemetery right by the visitor center, which is very touching in a way, because you see so many great horses and people. I was really touched, Walker. People live like pennies or roses at Secretariat's grave, and I'm sure you've seen many things as the years has gone along.
Yeah, this time of year, especially Secretariat's grave site basically becomes a shrine. I mean, it has pennies all over the top, usually garlands of roses and wreaths and a
Wow.
lot of peppermints. It's really cool the appreciation that people show for Secretariat.
So I have many, I have a lot of questions that I'd like to ask, but I want to narrow them down to be meaningful for you and the viewers. How has your upbringing shaped who you are today and your work ethic? Because, life on the farm in general is not easy, no matter if it's, just a general working farm or if it's Claiborne. Farm life is not easy.
Yeah, when on the weekends, when I was in school, if I wasn't playing a sport, I was basically working on on the farm. Um, but I watched my dad from basically growing up, and he was been a great role model, and just seeing the way he handles situations and people, and the races, the way he does things. He's definitely played a very large role. But we have a lot of great men and women that work here at Claiborne. I got to grow up working with them, and learned a lot of horsemanship skills from them working in the sales and in the barns. And it just, my dad's basically just, he always told me just keep my head down and keep on working, and that's kind of what he tried to do throughout his life, and that's what he has done, and that's what I try to do as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And actually, speaking of work ethic, nothing was going to be handed to you for free. Let's move on a little bit. You went on to college. You went to the University of Florida, and you majored in animal sciences and minored in agricultural sales and marketing. But also, and I'm a big sports fan as well as a horse racing fan. I want you to talk a little bit about your experience with the college football team as well.
So yeah, I was a manager for the University of Florida football team, 2008 and 2009 seasons. We won the national championship and the Sugar Bowl. We only lost two games the whole time I was there. It was
Because of you, I'm sure, because the balls are always clean
yeah,
and
sure. I kept those linebackers just ready to go all the time. But no, it was an awesome experience. Got to travel with the team to various away games and be on the field for all the games, and just being around the program, those great athletes and superior coaches. I learned a lot on the field and off the field. But it was a great kind of learning experience outside the classroom. That's for sure.
Any PG Urban Meyer or Tim Tebow stories you want to share?
Oh man, we could go on for
Are there
days.
any
I think
PG?
we would.
Are there any PG stories?
No, oh, yeah, of course there are. Tebow was a great guy. I used to warm him up before a couple games, and
Wow.
some of not all the games, some of them, but I had to wear gloves. I mean, he threw those balls so hard, and I didn't want to drop balls in front of a bunch of fans. If we were in an away game, you drop one, like people would start booing you. Just it was kind of funny, just in warm ups, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, I'm sure you heard and saw a lot of things. I have a former athlete. I used to coach basketball. A former athlete that I coached actually went on to play at UK. Ryan Hogan. I don't know if you remember that name at all, but he was a
Hmm.
guard, a two guard who transferred from Iowa. Actually, he transferred to Iowa. He started Kentucky, but he's from the hometown I grew up in, and he when he came back, he told me stories of what LSU fans would do and just all these SEC stories. It's serious down there, isn't it?
Oh yeah, when we drove into LSU, fans were like giving us the middle finger, and they were throwing beer cans at the bus, and like it was a night game at LSU, and I'll never forget that. That was the loudest sporting event venue I've ever been in my life. It was incredible.
Well, just that I know we're going a little off topic, but like I said, we like to have fun in this podcast. I'll just very briefly. Ryan Hogan told me when they were at a away game for a basketball game at LSU, the Bengal Tiger mascot, they purposely put the tiger close to their locker room. Let's just say the tiger didn't smell very well for certain reasons that I'm sure the kind of smells you hear on the farm, and just on purpose, just to mess with the the Kentucky basketball team. But
They did
anyway,
it to us at Florida too. Right outside the
there you
locker
go.
room, they planted that tiger in his little cage, and when you ran out on the field, you had to run and look at that tiger right when you walked by. It was really
Unbelievable.
intimidating.
Listen, I think that's really. You were quite the baseball player actually when you were younger as well, right? You would have, if the horse racing world didn't exist, you maybe try to be a professional baseball player, hopefully.
Well, when your fastball tops out at 85 miles an hour, you're not going to go very far. But I enjoy
That's
playing in
not
high
bad.
school. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. So early in 2014, I believe the age of 25, if I'm mistaken, you become president of Claiborne. I mean, I cannot imagine what that was like. That's quite amazing. Talk about what that was like, and some obviously there are very core values and principles of the farm. But anyone that takes over any, whether it's a business or a sports team, anything, they have some ideas. What are some changes that you want to incorporate to enhance the farm's legacy?
The biggest change that I did right when I started was we started the visitor center, which you're going to experience on Sunday. But we were having about 6 or 7 thousand, or no, maybe not that much, 5 or 6 thousand tours come through, and we didn't really have proper bathrooms. Everyone always wanted a hat or a T-shirt, and we just really had nothing to offer. So there was a guy that was retiring on the farm, and the house that he lived in was right next to our office, and it was the perfect spot to basically start a visitor center. And we kind of incorporated that into our everyday business. And my sister was just graduating at the time of college, and that was her. She took that over, and she's done a great job with it. And she's really made it into what it is today. But yeah, that's one of the first things that I started right when I took over.
Yeah, the visitor center is fantastic. There's really cool like video boards for those who've never been there, and they show some of the races of some of the horses that have there have been through Claiborne. It's really fantastic. Kudos to yourself and everyone that put that together. Um, of course, the slogan that many people know you've heard on TV, and by the way, the marketing department. I don't know if you have a particular department, but people that are in charge of marketing Claiborne, I just want to say publicly, do a fantastic job. Do the unusual unusually well. People have heard that. Where did that slogan come from? Who came up with that? And what does that mean to you?
My grandfather coined that phrase, and it's just kind of our simple way to look at the way we treat our horses. We just do the little things right, or try to do the little things right, and let the big things take care of themselves. We just make sure the horses have the cleanest water, the best feed, the best hay, the straw. We really try and it's a simple task, but some people make it difficult by overthinking it, and we treat the horses the best way we know how to, and we just let them be horses. And at the end of the day, that's just doing the usual and usually well.
I think it's very well described. Again, we're here with Walker Hancock, president of Claiborne Farm. If you're interested in handicapping, we are going to handicap folks once we're finished talking with Walker at approximately, I would say, 8:45, 8:50 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be covering the late pick five at Oaklawn. So if you are interested in the handicapping segment of the podcast, we'll be getting to that. But when you have an opportunity to talk to the president of Claiborne Farms, that you definitely put that to the side. Let's talk about a typical day. Now, a typical day on the farm is completely different um, during the breeding season, which is around February to June. And I put off season at the bottom there in quotes because I know you're very busy at the farm. There's really never an off season per se. But for those people that have never been to a farm like Claiborne, talk a little bit about what you specifically do on a day-to-day basis during the breeding season, and then how that changes when there's no breeding going on.
Yeah, so this time of year, we have mares foaling just about every night. So I'll get up around 5:30, and I'll go be at the foaling barn by 6 a.m. I check on the newborn foals. Like I said, usually we have at least one a night. One night 2 weeks ago we had six, so that was quite
Oh, wow.
quite a night. But yeah, we usually have one or two. Check on them, and then I go down to the office. I'll check in with our farm manager. We'll discuss whatever things we need to talk about, what's going on, what we need to do about certain things or whatever. Usually read the TDN, um, Blood Horse, whatever the trade publications. Kind of get ready for the day, make my schedule. This time of year, I get to go to Keeneland in the afternoons for the most part, so that's a lot of fun. But we have clients coming in town this weekend. Like tomorrow, they want to come see their horses. Take them out to dinner, and sometimes after Keeneland. So really, I go from 5:30 in the morning to 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So
Man.
it's a busy time of year. I just got back from the Ocala breeder sales this yesterday. I was down there. I left Monday morning at 6 a.m. Got back last night at 6 or 7. We had a couple selling today and yesterday, and we got a
Sorry
couple
to
two.
interrupt. We will be talking about that in just a little bit. So
Okay,
I'm excited to
we
hear
still
what.
have our 2 year olds down there with Robbie Harris. So I checked on them, and for probably the last time before I see them before they go off to the racetrack and go to their respective trainers and try and figuring out who they're going to go to and what we think they might be. And right now they're all undefeated, so you're hoping they're all going to be running
There
the
you go.
first Saturday in May next year, but that's likely not going to be the case. But you can always hope anyway.
I was in Ocala for the first time in December. I'm a recent owner, first time owner, Walker. I have a decent sized piece of two horses with the Adelphi Racing Club
Oh,
in New
cool.
York.
Yeah.
One's a street, they're 2 year olds right now. They're going to be trained by one by Ray Handel, a Street Sense filly, who will most likely be a turf sprinter up to a miler, and then a Taprit. It's his first, of course, crop Taprit colt will be trained by Christophe Clement. So I'm ecstatic to be a horse owner. I'm going to experience the highs and lows, of which I already have to some extent. But I was in Ocala for the first time in December, and boy, I don't know if you stayed at the Equestrian Center there, but that facility in Ocala is unbelievable. A beautiful hotel, and just everything about Ocala, if you've never been, for those people watching, is really cool. Talk a little bit about Ocala and just how a neat experience that is.
Yeah, the World Equestrian Center is beautiful. It's unbelievable. If you haven't, if you're going driving down 75 and you pass through Ocala, it's worth the time to pull off the interstate and go drive through that place. It's, I mean, what do they have? Like 26 barns and big arena show arenas and a gorgeous hotel that's brand new. It's really incredible. They've
Yeah.
that's shot up fast within like the last 5 years. Like I was in Gainesville for 4 years, and I'd go down to Ocala and go to the sales, go to see our 2 year olds with Robbie, and Ocala did not look like that. So they've made some big
Well,
strides in the last 10 years.
I was there with my brother and his fiance, and someone said, "Oh, you should check out the Equestrian Center." We're thinking, "Oh, it's a nice like building." We had no idea. It's like a five-star hotel. It's absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, we're getting a little off topic. Talk a little bit. So your day ends at 8 o'clock. It's a very long day. What about when there's no breeding going on? How much does your schedule change?
Yeah, I mean, look, the summers, June, July. There's thank goodness I get to enjoy those. It's pretty quiet on the farm. All the babies have been born. We're pretty much done breeding. We just have started sales. We start sales prep about the right after July 4th. So um, it's a nice period. It's some work during the mornings, but you get to spend some time with the family and friends and play a little golf and stuff in the summer, which is nice. But yeah, then we kick back up. I go to Saratoga every August, and then we got the September sales basically for 3 weeks in September, and talk. That's honestly the biggest grind of the year for me. Talking, those mornings are 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Um, and then your mind's going all day long. You're worried about the vet work on your horses. You're worried about how they're showing, who wants to buy them, what the reserves need to be. What if you're buying, what are we going to spend on this one? Who are we going to look at? So September is definitely my busiest month. But then right on the coattails of that, it's the October race meet again. You got another sale in October, then the Breeders' Cup in the November breeding stock sale, and then we get to December, and thankfully we get to take a breath again before we get to breeding season or foaling season in the middle of January.
And that just starts all over again. I'll tell you what, horse racing and golf, you're my kind of guy for sure. I love both those things. Um, I have two major topics that I want to speak with you about before you leave us tonight, and that is the Stallions that you have on the farm, and then actually a little more about the sales and the stud fees. So I'm going to also go ahead and bring up your website as well. And let me take the banner here off the screen that's scrolling. We don't need that anymore right now. Hold on one second here. By the way, I'm the producer, the editor, I do it all. I'm a one
One
man
man
band
show. I
here.
love it. You're doing a great job.
Absolutely. The Let me go ahead and bring up the website here, which I think is fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen, and you'll see the screen's going to change a little bit here. Um, I think the website, again, whoever is in charge of that does a fantastic job. There's the list of stallions I have on the bottom are clearly not all the stallions you have, but those are the ones I'd like to focus on. We're just going to touch on a few of them, and I have a special guest that I believe is going to come on here. One of our viewers who has something he wants to share with you about one of the stallions will be coming on very soon if he's able. Let's talk about War Fund first. I'm going to go ahead and click on the screen here. It's interactive here. Um, what you guys do is fantastic. I have like I said, I've been there once. I'm going to go ahead and go full screen here, Walker, so people can see
There we go.
a little more at Warfront. I have my screensaver, by the way, is Warfront. What I was amazed about this horse, again, of course, this was my first time, and I was there right before the pandemic. I was there September 2019. Warfront is not, a huge horse. He's 16 hands, but his conformation is just fantastic. He's a beautiful horse. And I mean, these statistics are ridiculous. 23 grade one winners, 102 stake winners. I mean, clearly Warfront is, I suppose you could say, the star of the show at your farm.
Yeah, he is. And one stat that isn't on there that I think is most impressive is he has sired 18 sons that have, or sorry, he has 18 sons that have sired stakes winners. So
Wow.
not only is he a great sire himself, he's also a fantastic sire of sires.
Yeah, I mean he's a world class too, and with the I think turf racing is becoming more prevalent here in the United States. I'm sure you'd agree with that. I mean he has
Yeah.
worldwide appeal, for horses on the turf and Euros as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He got his start here in America on the dirt with some really good horses like the Factor. We had a horse named Departing. Um, his first stakes winner was actually on the dirt, but then the folks from Coolmore took notice and they invested heavily and bred a lot of their mares, and then they started taking them over to Europe, and that's on
Yeah.
where he's had a lot of his success, most of his success. When he won two races on one day at Royal Ascot, that really set him in motion, becoming a serious international sire, and. A lot of people think he's a turf sire right now, but he really is a horse that can get you dual service. I mean, look at War Will. He won the Preakness. Look at a
Yeah.
horse like Omaha Beach. He was a favorite for the Derby before he scratched, but he won the Pegasus and he won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. So he was a really good horse himself on the dirt.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and bring us back on screen here a little bit here. One question I had, and I apologize for not knowing some of these things. I've been a handicapper for 30 years, Walker. I'm a contest player. I love the game. I've been deep diving very hard the last, I would say, 10 years into the breeding side because I was one of those people, those handicappers, Walker. And I know there's people out there that see a 2-year-old race with just a bunch of blanks, right? You just see pedigree, and you're like, what do I do with this race? Now I love those races. So I think talk about how important it is to really know pedigree, and not only that, the dam side is equally, if not more important, especially for first time starters, than the male side, perhaps. Correct?
Yeah, my grandfather always said never forget the female. It makes up half the horse. So a lot of people just look at their sires, but you really got to take into account what their mothers did as well. I mean, they're getting half their genes from them, and you can have great sires, great dam sires, whatever. But you better have a nice broodmare as well that can throw runners.
Now the stud fee right now is 100,000. Here's a question, and again, I apologize for not knowing the answer to this. I believe his stud fee was higher, was 250 at one point a few years ago, etc. How is the stud fee determined? Do you have people, feeder people that sort of go out and talk to others and try to figure out what the market will bear, or how is that stud fee exactly determined?
Yeah, it's kind of market demand. You just got to get a gauge. Sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we miss the mark quite a bit. But you know, he's 20 years old now. He was 250 for quite a while.
Yeah.
As he enters the sunset phase of his career, stud career, it's we just still want to attract the right mares, and at 100,000 you will. But he's just a little older now, and we he breeds a limited amount of horse mares as it is, and 100,000 still makes sense for us.
When do you think he'll be pensioned? How many more years left of breeding would you say he has?
I mean, hopefully he can keep going 3 or 4 more years, but you never know when one year might be their last. But he's doing good, getting his mares in foal this year. He started out a little slow, but he does that every single year in March, and he's picked it up ever since about the middle of April, and he's doing good now.
Well, I'm so happy that he's healthy and happy and incredible. What an incredible sire. The next horse I want to talk about, and we have a gentleman waiting to come on here, has a very strong interest in this horse. Let me bring up the horse that I want to bring up, and then I will bring up the gentleman that is here to talk about him. That's Catholic Boy. Catholic Boy is one of the newer sires, that you have on the farm. A fantastic horse. And Walker, if I may, let me go ahead and take this down just for a moment. I'd like to bring on a guest of the show. He's been on the show several times. He writes for the Saratoga Special in New York, so he's very well versed in journalism and has been around the horse racing game for a long time. And this gentleman also has a strong connection to Catholic Boy. And I emailed and I said, I'm going to have Walker Hancock on, and he said, we need to talk about Catholic Boy. So I'd like to introduce Walker. I'd like to introduce to the show Mr. Paul Halloran. Paul, say hi to the president of Claiborne Farms.
Walker, pleasure to meet you.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
So
I'm
Paul,
great, thank you.
I'm sorry. So Paul, very briefly, talk to Walker why we have you on the show, and you got the Catholic Boy hat on. I can see it's really a touching story, Walker. Then we'll let Paul share. Go ahead, Paul.
And I have the Claiborne one too, Walker, but these were
Oh, I
made
see that.
before
Thank you.
made by us. So the Reader's Digest version, Walker, is right prior to the Breeders' Cup in 17. I was heading to Del Mar. My dad was very sick. He encouraged me to go. Said take $100 and bet someone for me. He wasn't a gambler. Sadly, he passed away while I was out there the day before the Breeders' Cup started. And on Friday, I was looking for something to do with his $100. And Catholic Boy was in the juvenile turf. So I played him. My dad was a very good Catholic boy, so to speak. Played him, ran fourth. His next 5 starts, he won 3 of them. I didn't have him. He lost the other 2. I had him. I was questioning this religious stuff, although I'm pretty religious. So anyway, flash forward to the Travers in 18. I kind of looked up and I said, okay, we're going to give this one more shot. You know the race he ran. He ran off the screen. I went on a mission with my good friend, Dr. Jeff Mora, who's a big viewer of Howard, the following morning. Found him, visited with him, talked to Jonathan Thomas, and flash forward to 2 weeks before the Breeders' Cup. My friend Bob Mullins and I delivered these shirts and these hats to Bob LaPenta's house in Connecticut for him to wear at the Breeders' Cup. So I have a very, through my dad, that I feel a connection to the horse through my dad because of the circumstances. So that's the Catholic Boy connection.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a really cool story.
And in religion, in the Catholics, we talk about going to the Vatican to have an audience with the Pope. I'm going to take advantage of this, Walker. When I come to Claiborne, I'd like to request an audience with Catholic Boy if I could.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll make it work.
Walker, talk about. I'm going to go ahead and bring and Paul. Obviously, you're welcome to stay on as long as you like.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and bring on the information about Catholic Boy, and you can talk. He's right now at stud fees 20,000. I believe his first 2-year-olds will be running next year, correct, Walker? So he's got
a
bunch of first crop next year.
Certainly.
Yeah, how's Catholic Boy doing, first of all, and how do his babies look right now?
Look, we're really bullish on Catholic Boy. We really like the ones we have here. He's a son of More Than Ready, and that line surely will continue on here in the United States. He was a great grade 6 winner at 2, 3, and 4. Obviously, won the Travers, a very impressive style. He beat Vino Rosso, Good Magic, Mendelssohn, all stallions that stand for more than he does. And we like what we've seen. They're very similar to the More Than Readies that we also have on the farm. And if he's anything like More Than Ready, he's going to be just okay. He's going to be very good.
Yeah, I would imagine his prodigy is going to be very versatile, turf and dirt. How did you decide? I guess maybe Paul, this would probably be a question you'd be interested in as a big fan of Catholic Boy. Walker, how does it decided who you pair, who you cross Catholic Boy with? Because obviously you'd assume the prodigy will be able to run on turf and or dirt.
Well, one of the draws why we like Catholic Boy so much is we have a lot of Warfront mares, and the More Than Ready Warfront cross is very, very proven. It's very successful in Australia in particular, and we think that we bred a lot of our Warfront mares to them. So we're very hopeful that we get a favorable result. And so far, we like the offspring that we've seen.
And the horse itself, I'm sure, is doing fantastic. Now, is he one of the sires that you are allowed or is able to be shown to the public on the tours? Or I know, obviously, you want to do what's best for the horses. Some horses are more people, friendly. Some are not. Where does Catholic Boy stand in terms of that?
I wouldn't say he's the most friendliest, but he's not mean by any stretch of the imagination. He's just a tough stallion. They're all playful and yeah, absolutely. When you're on the tour, you can request to see a certain stallion. Sometimes the grooms will ask the group who they want to see, and if you just have a strong opinion that you want to see Catholic Boy, they'll show you Catholic Boy.
Paul, do you have a question? Any other questions for Walker about Catholic Boy?
Walker, it just seems like being a Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf, it seems like that is something that'll set him apart. And certainly I would think there's a future potential for that stud fee to grow as the horses start running potentially on either surface.
That's what we're thinking. Secretariat was also a Grade 1 winner on turf and dirt. So we're hoping that he can follow in those footsteps there. But you're right, Paul. We're very hopeful for Catholic Boy. We like what we've seen. He's in his third crop of mares right now, which is always the hardest. People are really hesitant to sometimes breed their third crop just because they don't really have anything to. There's been no results yet, and if you breed to one now, by the time you have a foal, if the horse is a flop, you don't have much value as a commercial horse. But we think he's going to be a good racehorse sire, and we're excited about him.
So his first yearlings will sell this year, Walker?
That's right. Yeah, we have a
I need
really
to hit
nice
a pick
one
5, Howard.
yeah, we have a really nice one. I'm excited to take to Keeneland September this year.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that, Walker. Paul said he needs to hit one of the pick 5s that we talked about in the show so he can go to the sales and buy it. Now, there have been some already sold down at the OBS sale, correct? I think I saw some Catholic boys.
They're only yearlings, so they were none of
Oh, I'm sorry,
OBS.
those are the 2-year-olds
But there
only.
will be
Sorry, right now, yeah.
This time next year there will be plenty of Catholic boys at OBS.
But what's the highest selling Catholic boy from last year? Do you recall?
I think the highest one right now was like 120,000. To be honest, I was a little disappointed in his wingling average. I really think that people are holding back their good ones because the ones that we saw at the sale were not representatives of the ones that we have here at the farm. So, he offers tremendous versatility. Turf horses are sometimes hard to buy. Some of the offspring do look pretty turfy, and subsequently, I think that sometimes affects their sale value, but it won't affect their race value. And once they start running, people will love to breed to them.
Not for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Very quickly, some other horses, and I know we probably 10 minutes left here, so I'll be brief. Give us a little update on Run Happy, War of Will, and Silver State. Those last two, of course, are the newest ones at the farm.
Run Happy obviously has Smile Happy in the Kentucky Derby. Looks like he'll be one of the favorites. He's really come back from the ashes. People were starting to write him off after his kind of less than stellar first crop, but I think it just people thought they were going to be so quick and precocious, and they really aren't. You got to give them time and let them come into themselves. A lot of them are really big and kind of backwards, and he was that way. So you kind of just have to let them come into themselves, and people realize that now that they're giving them they have some patience, and they're getting rewarded on the racetrack.
Yeah, I heard someone who owns like a mattress company or something might be putting a few shekels on Smile Happy. Can you just briefly talk about Mattress Mac, James McAvale, and just, he's such a great enthusiast of the sport.
He's advertised
what he does for Claiborne.
Yeah, he's awesome. He had actually the farm a couple days ago. I missed him because I was down in Ocala, but he's an incredible human being, great philanthropist, and he's Run Happy's #1 fan, and he's put a lot of money behind advertising and making him who he is, and now the horse is finally showing everybody his full capabilities.
And War of Will is a new horse for you folks. In the breeding shed, 25,000 stud fee. Another horse, very versatile, turf and dirt.
Yeah, again, he's similar to Catholic Boy. He was a Grade 1 winner on both turf and dirt. He was Warfront's only dirt classic champion. I mentioned earlier that Warfront has 18 sons that have sired stakes winners. Our War of Will is arguably one of the most accomplished ones on the racetrack and has one of the best pedigrees of any sons of Warfront that you'll find. So there really is no reason he won't produce top class horses.
And then I don't want to give any short. And again, we don't have time to mention all the others, but Silver State, a very nice horse. Won the Met Mile for 20,000 stud fee.
Yeah, he's an awesome racehorse. He's kind of a throwback model. He's won 6 races in a row, which you hardly ever see anymore. He beat Nick's Go, who was Horse of the Year last year in the Met Mile. He's a gorgeous, gorgeous individual. And he's going to probably set the record for the most amount of mares ever bred here at Claiborne. He's just been that popular.
Yeah, it's just tremendous. And again, there are many others that we could talk about, but the sires and you have wonderful brood mares as well that on the farm also.
Yeah, we just had a Tappet filly out of one of our really good race mares named Lowell. We're really excited about her. Late had a nice Spice Sound colt about a month or two ago.
Okay.
And he's really shaping into a really nice foal. So we have a couple more here that we're excited about in the coming weeks, and hopefully we'll finish off the breeding season strong.
You just remind
Howard,
me of
can I help?
Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Speaking of War of Will, Walker, I think in one of the greatest marketing efforts of all time, the deal that you guys have signed with University of Kentucky quarterback Will Levis for him to promote War of Will the Stallion, and of course Claiborne. Just ingenious idea, and I'm sure especially down there, it's getting unbelievable traction.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Yeah, we kind of took a leap of faith and hoping it'd work. And look, we've already sold 3 or 4 seasons, or just from that ad, and so it's paid for itself. It's been great publicity for the sport, for War of Will, and it got a lot of tremendous attraction from outside the industry that really brought eyeballs and good publicity to our sport.
And hence the college football. I was going to show the video, but we don't have time for that. Anyway, you can go and see that it's a pretty cool commercial that Walker's talking about it. Last major topic, Walker, and then we'll end with our 10 minutes to post and appreciate it. The sales and stud fee. We talked about the stud fee down at Ocala. I know there's a $2.3 million colt by Uncle Mo that was sold, but the bigger question or comment I have for you is the sales were fantastic right now at OBS. A 2-year-old sale. I'm looking at some stats here. Tuesday, the average price was 137,000. Let me take this off screen. 137,000, up 45% from the 94,000 it was last year, and the median has jumped up. So, do you think that's because of COVID and just the economy? Where do you see, the sales going this year? Obviously, the market's very good right now.
Well, look, I think I saw like the average was up 50%. Or the median was up 50, the average is up 35%. Just incredible results down there at OBS this week. But it's great. It puts more money in those consigners' pockets, which in turn will hopefully they'll have plenty to spend come September buying yearlings from us, and kind of just a nice trickle down effect. Look, we have record purses here in Kentucky. It means a lot when you can run a maiden race for $100,000. You can get $60,000 for winning it. I mean, that pays for a lot of expenses. It pays for basically the horse's whole life. And you can, it just makes it more economical. And I think we're seeing that, and it's been a huge benefit in the sales ring lately.
Yeah, the purse structures right now are fantastic. One last question, and then I have a very quick, just 10 sort of question segment. A lot of people love. We'll end with that. You have about 10 more minutes for us, Walker?
Yeah, for sure.
Terrific.
Yep.
What do you, and Paul, if you want, feel free to interject if you'd like, Paul. What do you see in the future of Claiborne Farm? What are some things you'd like to do that have not been done right now, or just improvements in general?
Well, look, when people ask me, I always tell them I just want to leave it better than I found it. So, it's just a constant struggle trying to, improve our brood mares every year, trying to get better stallions. Instead of one war front, I want to have 10 more fronts. But unfortunately, it's not that easy. But that would be the goal. It's definitely the business changes, evolves year after year, and we're just trying to stay up with the times. And as Mattress Max says, you either evolve or dissolve. So we got to stay on our toes and keep moving forward.
Well, I'd say you're doing a great job, Paul. Before I let you go here, any final thoughts or questions for Walker?
No, just that, I'm a kind of a secretariat freak too. And in fact, rereading the book right now, and the whole story about how Penny Tweedy got secretariat and the coin flip, and, how I think it would have been your grandfather who did the syndication, or your dad, Walker?
My dad. Yeah, well,
your dad,
my grandfather he died abruptly, and my dad had to take it over and finish the deal.
Yeah, it's just probably the first major one like that, $190,000 a share. So it's just great to see, a legacy farm like yours continue. And I'm sure it was heady stuff being 25 years old or whatever you were, being handed the keys. But it seems like all is well, and look forward to getting down there and keep up the great work.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm lucky my dad's still around. He didn't have that luxury. He was thrown to the fire, if you will, and he's 23 years old and had to figure it out himself. So I'm lucky that he's still around, and I can have him there as a guiding light.
Paul, thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you down the line, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. All right, bye-bye. All right, so that was Paul Halloran. He's a great guy. I met him through the podcast, Walker. I had no idea who he was.
Oh, cool.
That's the great thing about podcasts, just meet people. All right, so you've been on quite a while. Let's go ahead and wrap up the show. I have a very fun segment that I created. It's a combination of it's rapid fire, Walker, so you can take literally 2 seconds to answer these questions. You can take a minute. It's completely up to you. Some of them are horse racing. Some of them are not. It's intended to be fun. And the segment is called 10 Minutes to Post. 10 Minutes to Post. These are going to be 10, like I said, rapid fire questions. Walker has no idea what they are. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, strap it
You
in.
got me
Here we go.
nervous.
Nah, it'll be all good. You'll see them on the bottom of the screen. What was the first moment you fell in love with horses or horse racing?
The first major race I remember is Pulpit winning the Bluegrass Stakes in 1997. That's when it kind of hit me like this was really awesome. This is really cool. It means a lot to my family. This is what I want to do.
The best or most memorable horse racing event ever attended?
2010 Breeders' Cup Classic, without a doubt, will never be topped. When Blaine beat Zenyatta and the crowd went dead silent, and we were the only ones cheering, and everyone was looking at us, and I was worried that people were going to start throwing beer on us.
I was cheering because I singled blame in the pick four. So I
There are
love
so many
Zenyatta.
people that
Nothing
tell me
against
that
Zenyatta, but
I was cheering for Blaine that night, and add you to the list now.
what a great race! And by the way, God bless Garrett Gomez. What an incredible ride he gave in such
Yeah,
a
Blaine doesn't win that
tragedy
race
after
without
the
Garrett
fact. But
Gomez.
I mean, just unbelievable. I thought Zenyatta was going by, and he just was able to, save ground on the turn, and just incredible. Blaine was a great win. Bucket list track or race day event you'd like to attend in the world?
I want to go to Goodwood. I don't know why, but it just seems I've always heard good things about Goodwood. Glorious
Okay.
Goodwood. It's in the perfect time in the year in August, and they say it's really pretty.
Have you been to the Arc?
I've never been in the Ark. No.
Okay. I'd like to go. I'd like to go to the Melbourne Cup. It just looks like a lot of fun.
Cool. I've been to Ascot a couple times. That's very cool as well.
Okay. What advice would you give someone who wants to work in the breeding industry?
Start in your 20s and just work as hard as you can. And if you have to clean a bunch of stalls every day, just do it. It'll make you appreciate it. And if you work hard, you'll climb the ladder and get to where you want to be. But don't worry about trying to be a manager when you're 25 years old. I was very fortunate and lucky, but not everyone is. Just start working and get as much experience as you possibly can.
Of course. Financial mistakes you see most often from the breeding side of the business?
Breeding too many mares to a stallion. I think one of our things here is we let the demand or keep the supply down, the demand high, and I think a lot of these people will breed so many to these horses, and then it just causes problems down there because you get so many bad ones, and then you don't reward the breeders that have good ones.
Great answer. By the way, we're halfway done. You're doing great. We have three more horse racing questions. Actually, two horse racing questions and three non-horse racing questions. Biggest fears as the president of a famous farm?
I mean, failure. I mean, running the business into the ground.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I hope not, but that is honestly one of the biggest fears.
I'm sure. Other than the Kentucky Derby or Breeders' Cup Classic, what race would you most like to see a Claiborne Stallion win?
Claiborne Stallion or like one
Not
of our
the
races?
Stallion, but an offspring of.
Without a doubt, the Kentucky Oaks. We've actually never won. We've actually never won the Kentucky Oaks.
Really, I did not know that.
Yeah. So I'd love to win the Kentucky Oaks one day.
Okay. I should ask you if we had more time. I'd ask you for some picks for the Oaks of the Derby, but we don't. If you feel free if you want to, if you have any horses you really like.
I'm cheering for Kathleen O. We have in the Oaks. We have the dam of Kathleen O here at the farm, and she's owned by one of our clients.
Okay.
Who's great guy, elderly gentleman, and he's so fired up. And we'll be cheering for Kathleen O in the Oaks.
Boy, that Oaks, it looks like an absolute war. It's the best Oaks. I'm 50 years old, Walker. I can't remember in 30 years an Oaks that has
totally agree. It's kind of
this race.
Seems like it's overshadowing the Derby almost. Like people want to talk more about the Oaks than the Derby this year.
I don't know, not this year. I'll tell you what. The Oaks have been fantastic. U of F or UK? Who are you cheering for?
Oh man!
Now you don't want to get thrown out of the Commonwealth. Be careful with this answer.
Look, I don't cheer. So I cheer for Kentucky in basically everything. Or I do cheer for Kentucky and everything. But I really had a struggle with the football U of Florida versus Kentucky. It's just I work for the team. One of my best friends works for the University of Kentucky football team right now. I've got to know some of those guys a little bit. I don't cheer against. I hate that game. I really do.
I agree.
Cheer,
I didn't want to put you on the spot. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So
gotta go with Big Blue Nation. What a great year they had this past year, by the way.
Yeah, but anyway, right. I'd probably cheer for Kentucky just because I'm in town and I'm a little further removed from University of Florida, but I never want them to lose.
There you go. Two non-horse racing questions, and again, really appreciate you. Top songs or artists on your playlist?
Um, right now, I really like Morgan Wallen, Chris Stapleton, any '90s country I like.
Okay.
I'm pretty much a
Old
country
school.
fan. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm going to last question. I'm going to be, of course, Keelan this weekend. Which should I go with, the burgoo or the bread pudding?
You start with the burgoo and end with the bread pudding, and have a beer in between.
That's the bread pudding. Someone's first time I was there. I'll end with this, Walker. I know we're ending on food. That's okay. We like to have fun on the show. Someone told me that had been there. Howard, you got to try the bread pudding. First of all, I think I'd had like bread pudding once before that. I'm like, bread pudding? How good can this be? Walker, and you know, I don't got to tell you. If anyone out there listening, the bread pudding at Keyland is absolutely unbelievable. It's like addicting. It comes in like a cup almost. It's like warm. It's
Mm-hmm.
gooey. It's
Mm-hmm.
oh my goodness. I could have
Yeah,
those all weekend long.
I'm with you. Every time if I see bread pudding on a menu, I never get it because I know it's not going to top Keeneland's.
Absolutely. Walker, listen, we really appreciate you having on, especially for this long time. All the viewers and listeners appreciate you. Any final thoughts or comments about Claiborne Farm or the upcoming Triple Crown season, or just anything you'd like to say in general?
Not really. Just really appreciate you having me on. We have let's see, we have 3 runners the next 3 days at Keeneland. So if you see them in the program, maybe try and root us home.
Absolutely. Walker Hancock, thank you very much, the president of Claiborne, on our show tonight. I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing the farm on Sunday, and you are welcome back on the show anytime, sir. Thanks
Well,
again, and
thanks
have a
for
great
having me
night.
on, Howard. Hopefully, it's not the last time.
No, it definitely won't be. Thanks again. Take care.
All right. See
All
ya.
right, goodbye. All righty. Wow. How cool was that? Walker Hancock of Claiborne Farm is tremendous. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the handicapping portion. We really appreciate, again, Walker coming on. Let's talk about the handicapping portion of the show. We're going to be discussing, as I go ahead and bring on the screen here, we're going to be talking about the late pick five at Oaklawn. And I'm going to be pretty brief through this. So bear with me. This is not going to be quite as deep a dive as normal. In fact, I do not have banners for my top choices. I will talk about my top choices as I go ahead and just look at my own notes here, but I do not have banners tonight for the top choices. It's been a very busy week for me getting ready for Keelan, so I apologize, but I will say my top choices. So for those of you watching on YouTube right now live, feel free to write this down if you'd like, or of course you can watch replay. It starts in race 8. This is at Oaklawn on Saturday. It starts in race 8. You can see it's going to be about 4:54 Eastern Standard Time. And actually, this is the pick 4. I greatly apologize. I actually wanted to do the pick 4 we're going to discuss here. Let's jump to the pick 4 here. The pick 4 starts in race 9 at 5:26 Eastern Standard Time. Again, we're going to discuss the pick 4. I can go back to, I said the pick 5 actually I'm sorry, guys. I said pick 5 on the on the promo. Let's just go to the pick 5. Pick 5 starts in race 8. 4:54 Eastern Standard Time. It starts with the Oaklawn Stakes, which is a 3-year-old stake race. 150,000. It's restricted for 3-year-olds. Now, the interesting thing that I found about this race is I go full screen here and show you the uh, race. It's 7 horses. The winner of this race gets a free trip to the Preakness. However, if I read it correctly, you have to be Triple Crown nominated to get a free trip to the Preakness. And none of these horses, believe it or not, at least based on what I saw, are Triple Crown nominated. So the winner of this race will not automatically go to the Preakness only because none of them are nominated to the Triple Crown. And if I'm incorrect, I apologize. But based on my research information, it doesn't look like any of these horses are actually nominated to the Triple Crown, which has been unusual. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PPs. Like I said, we're going to go through this a lot more quickly tonight. I'm going 2, 3, 4. Very simple to remember. I'm going 2, 3, 4 in this race. I like Stellar Tap the most for Steve Asmussen. Seems to be an improving type by Tap It Out of Dalidoro mare. It has a few races over the track. Had some trouble in the Rebel. Again, we're not going to show the race, but did have some trouble in the Rebel. Came back with a 78 buyer, had more traffic. He's got to get a clean run, but I think he's definitely got a big. I'm going to make this a little bigger here. Definitely has good shot to win this race. He's my top choice. My second choice for you golf fans out there, I'm going with 3, Kuchar. If you like golf, you know what I'm talking about. Matt Kuchar, wonderful veteran golfer. Kuchar just broke his maiden the horse. He's 5-1. He's got blinkers on. Ran a 77 buyer. Usually I'd be against a horse who just broke his maiden. This is not the strongest field. He's owned by Windstar. I think Kuchar fits. And then I'd go with the number 4, Homebrew, a horse from Brad Cox. A Street Sense colt out of a Tappet mare. Has not raced since January, so I sort of like the upside here. The problem is he hasn't really progressed since he ran those 275s at the end of 2021. So I was a bit dubious as to how much growth and scope he has. My guess is Brad Cox wasn't really happy with that race on New Year's Day against Dash Attack and Barber Road. So he's faced some good ones. I'm going 2, 3, 4 with Stellar Tap on top in the first leg of the Pick 5 on Saturday at Oaklawn. Let's go to the next race, race 9 at Oaklawn. This race is a starter allowance for 25,000. Again, horses, you can see the condition there. They've not won 2 races since December 31st, or in for a claim tag of 25. It's a field of 9. I can get almost everyone there on the screen. I'll scroll down there. There's Ultimate. It's wide open. The favorite is number 7. Don't Forget. I have that horse in third. I am going with, as you bear with me, I'm going 6-4-7. Again, I apologize for not having banners tonight. Probably the first time that I've never had banners up. But again, it's been a very busy week. Didn't have quite time to do that. Again, I'm going 6-4-7 in race 9. I'm going with Admirably on top. This is a difficult race. I think you have to spread. This is a horse that was previously trained by Wayne Potts, which is a whole other conversation that I know Paul Halloran might have strong opinions on Wayne Potts based on the issues he's had right now on the East Coast. But anyway, this horse is very consistent. I think there's a bunch of speed. He has been a money. He's been low prices. You can see he's been 7-5, 6-5, but he's gotten the job done in his last 2 starts. Seems to be improving. I like Giovanni Franco. I'm going with Admirably on top. I have in second. Now this is a fascinating horse. This is a long shot that I like quite a bit. Let me go ahead and put myself on screen. I'm just going to go on the corner of the screen there. Sea to Success is a horse that I am very interested in. I threw him out there on my race day blog at 8-1. If you receive my race day blog, you'll know why I like this horse. I don't have time to get into a lot of details. Just another reason why to join the race day blog. And by the way, speaking of the race day blog, if I may put myself a little bigger on screen, did anyone have Awesome Jerry out there last weekend? Awesome Jerry, a horse I talked about a lot on this show. For about 5-6 minutes, we talked about replays. I also had him in the race day blog. Awesome Jerry comes through, paid $43.80. He was 20-1 on the last race at Keeneland this past Sunday. I know a lot of people who listen to the HHH Racing podcast cashed in on Awesome Jerry. I hope you were one of those people. So we definitely have some interesting opinions there. Dean G likes Sea to Success as well. Thank you, Dean, for watching the show. Anyway, what I like about Sea to Success briefly, he's coming from California. I like McLean Robertson, the new trainer. This horse is fast, and I think there's a chance that he can get the early lead in this race. And if he can run back to his starts 2-3 back, I think he has a big shot. To me, this is a drop down in class, and I like the price. Anyway, there's other things I talked about on the blog. I like Sea to Success here in second. And then I'd throw Don't Forget in third. He's consistent, but he doesn't wow me. I think this is a step up in class as well. You can see he's been in starter allowance 10, starter allowance 20. Might be a little bit on the cheaper side, at least for me. I also don't like the 3-1, but he can absolutely win. Again, I'm going 6-4-7 here in the second leg of the pick 5 on Saturdays. I go ahead and just fix a few things on my screen here. Okay. Let's. By the way, Val plays. Thank you very much. We absolutely talked about Awesome Jerry. And you know what I found amazing is, I go on. Let me go ahead full screen. I did tout him on the show. I touted him um, on Twitter before the race. Of course, after the race, everyone and their mother had Awesome Jerry out of nowhere. Anyway, I was wrong plenty of times, and I'm wrong all the time. That's the nature of the game. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm right all the time, but you have to celebrate your wins, especially when you call it 20-1. So that was pretty cool, and I'm glad a lot of people out there cashed. Let's go on to the next race. This is race 10 at Oaklawn. Again, we're talking about the late pick 5 Saturday at Oaklawn. It's another allowance race. This is allowance optional, claiming tag of 25,000. There's some salty veterans here. It's a 10-horse field, starting with first line. The favorite here, and there's absolutely no way, I'd be shocked if we got 5-2 on Eastside Cool as I go ahead and show. This is my best bet of the entire pick 5. I loved Eastside Cool in this race. I don't think there's a chance in hell we're getting 5-2. He's won 3 in a row. He's continuing to get better for Asmussen. He's got Joel Rosario, which is a rider upgrade in this race. He can stalk. He can show speed. My only concern is he's coming back, I guess relatively quick in a few weeks. But listen, when a horse is in good form, why not run him? No one else in here really blows me away. I love Eastside's cool in this spot. I'm going 3-9-7. Again, 3-9-7 is who I'm going with here in this race. I'll quickly talk about the others. Go West is a very consistent horse, a 4-year-old for Brett Calhoun, 3-1 morning line. Just broke his maiden, but it's had a perfect trip. Now he's got an outside post against a much tougher field. Maybe he can improve, but I think Eastside's Cool to me is just a better horse right now. And then the other horse I would throw in there maybe underneath would be the 7, VIP Who. I like the main angle here for VIP Who would be the trainer change to Carl Broberg, who's excellent off the claim. This horse has some, figs to catch up to. He's only been running the high 70s and only ran a 68, but he goes from an apprentice rider to Rye Eccleberry and a new trainer to Carl Broberg. I think there's a lot of improvement that we can foresee coming here for VIP Who, the number 7. But again, I think number 3, Eastside Cool, absolutely towers over this field, in my opinion. I don't think we're getting 5-2. This horse would be my single in the pick 5. Let's go to the feature race of the pick 5 sequence on Saturday. And you want to see a purse. I do a double take. I mean, unbelievable. It's the Oaklawn Handicap. It's the top race for the older males at Oaklawn every year. And how about a $1 million purse for the Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap? Fantastic that they're putting up $1 million for this race. If they're going a mile and 1/8, you can see the field there. It's a field of 8 led by the number 8, Fearless, a nice older horse for Todd Pletcher, who has been wintering down in Florida this year. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PPs of the Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap. There are many horses in this race that are coming out of the Essex, which I'm not going to show you, but take a look at the replay of the Essex. As I said, there are many horses coming out of that. I am not going with Fearless on top. I'm going with sort of an interesting, sneaky horse here. I'm going to go ahead and put myself off screen. Let's just show the PPs here. I'm going with Thomas Shelby. Now, I'm going to readily admit, ladies and gentlemen, this might be a stab in the dark. My main angle here is twofold with Thomas Shelby. Number one, there's not a lot of early speed in this race. There's really only 2 horses in this race that have any penchant for early speed. One of them is the 2, Thomas Shelby. And the other one that could obviously show speed is the number 6, Plainsman. But it seems to me that Plainsman has been more content to stalk, especially with Rosario. I want to show the beginning only of the Essex Handicap, the last race that Thomas Shelby was in. Now, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, there were the top 4 horses are coming out of the Essex into this race on Saturday. So you definitely want to. We're not going to watch the whole, but we will watch the beginning and the end. Um, Thomas Shelby is going to be the rail horse here. Plainsman's the 4. The winner was the 6, Rated R Superstar, who's really a cool horse, a 9-year-old. And then 7, Bo Luminary, is going to be coming from behind and sort of clunking up. Watch the beginning of this race here. Again, watch the 1, Thomas Shelby. He was supposed to be on the lead, and you can see coming up here in just a moment, he's going to stutter step right there. Does not get out of the gate very well. And you can see right now, he's already, about a half a length to a length. I'll show it again. He's already behind the field, and he has to make a move that I understand, but that I hate from a betting perspective, which is the rush up. You see right there, he stutter steps. Now he's got to rush up. You see the jockey is really asking him to get up in there, and he does get to the lead. They were not blazing, but that takes a lot of energy. And by the way, right here, the number 3, this is Warrior's Charge, a nice speed horse, and here's Plainsman, the 4. So anyway, they went decent fractions here, but the fact that he had to rush up and he's getting pressured here by Plainsman the whole way is not good. We take it to the far turn. Again, here's Thomas Shelby. Here's Plainsman. The winner is going to be the 6 right here coming up, Rated R Superstar, and the 7 right here is the 7's right here, Bo Luminary. You see, Thomas Shelby, I thought he was going to sort of just completely give it up this point. They went 111 and 2, but he is fighting. I mean, he fights pretty well. He doesn't give it up that easily. I mean, he does get beaten a few lengths there. As you see, Rated R Superstar comes over the top. But even at this point, you can see that he sort of digs back in against Plainsman. Now he loses the Plainsman, but I don't think that's a bad effort. I really don't. He lost by what, 2.5 lengths, and I think he had legitimate trouble at the start. Now, the question you have to ask yourself, or ask me, is Howard, even if he breaks well, is he good enough? The race that I'm interested in most, that sort of convinces me, is the 1-4 back. You look 4 back, he did go 1 mile and 1/8, and he almost beat a nice horse called Lone Rock, who would be one of the favorites in this race. I think he can get the distance. He's going to have to break well. My opinion in this race, or what I'm hoping, is I'm hoping Thomas Shelby breaks well this time, that Rosario on the 6 Plainsman just sort of lets Thomas Shelby go, and maybe he can wire the field. I don't expect it to happen, but would I be shocked if this horse wires the field like 10-1? Absolutely not. Thomas Shelby is going to be one of my price places of the day at Oaklawn on Saturday, and you will know right away, at least in my opinion, if Thomas Shelby has a chance, because he's going to have to break on top and have an unpressured lead. I think both those things can happen. Maybe he gets away with some slower fractions, and who knows? I'm going with Thomas Shelby on top at a price. Fearless is clearly the horse to beat, the number 8. I've never been a huge fan of this horse, but he's ultra consistent. He's very good right now. He is shipping in from Gulfstream. He has raced at Oaklawn twice. He's not won, but he has 2 seconds. He's clearly the horse to beat. He very well may come over the top. I don't trust him. I don't know what it is about. I have nothing against the horse or Todd Pletcher, of course. I don't know. I just don't trust him. He doesn't blow me away. He can win. I'm going with him in second. I'm going with the 5, Rated R Superstar, who's just an incredible 9-year-old. I mean, every time I question this horse, he just runs well. So I'm going, he won the Essex last time. I'm going 2-8-5, taking a little bit of a stab with Thomas Shelby. Tell me what you think. Am I crazy? Michael Bryan said he's been wrong about Thomas Shelby for 2 years. Michael, I hope you're right with him. Tom Espinoza, Tom, thanks for joining the show. He thinks distance might be an issue with Rated R Superstar. It might be, Tom. That's an excellent point. Not every closer is the same. Anyway, again, great people watching the show tonight. Appreciate it. I'm going 2-8-5. Again, 2-8-5 here in the Oaklawn Handicap. All right, let's go on to the last race. I go ahead and bring myself back on screen here. The last race, and the closeout leg is very difficult. Again, we could talk about this race forever. They always seem to do this. I'm just crazy how the last race at Oaklawn always seems to be a difficult one. It's going to be at about 7:15 Nice to see the sun out at a later time this time of year. Another optional allowance, this is for 25, but this is for Louisiana breds. You can see, sorry, excuse me, Arkansas breds. Greatly apologize to everyone in at Oaklawn. My apologies. Arky breds. It's a big field of 12 in this race. The favorite is the outside horse, the number 12, Goodnight Archie, with Santana in the irons. Um, he is a speed horse. I'm going to show him first. Goodnight Archie is an absolute speed horse, but look, if this horse doesn't get the lead, I mean, he folds like a cheap suit. I don't love the 12 here at all. I am going in this race. I'm going 3, 4, 10. Again, 3, 4, 10 are my top choice in this race. The number 3, Mahomey, won for me last time. It was a cheaper race. He's stepping up in class, but I think if he can run that race again or maybe improve off that effort, the number 3, Mahomey, has a big shot. The horse I like at a price is the number 4, Heritage Park. Take a look very carefully, everyone, at Heritage Park. And again, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or Anchor, thank you for listening. Grab a hold of some PPs. What I like about Heritage Park, if you toss out his wet track efforts, which is his last race and his race 3 back, which were awful, this horse absolutely fits. He's very fast early. He might get the lead in this race. He runs well on a fast track. He's not as good as he used to be in 2021, but if he breaks well and gets to the lead and the track is going to be fast, I see no reason why Heritage Park can't hang around a long time at a price. The problem for Heritage Park is going to be the aforementioned number 12, Goodnight Archie, who is as fast as he is and is going to be sent from the outside. So, again, Heritage Park, if there's a way that he can somehow get loose or just be very brave, I think he can be around for quite longer time off the claim for Timothy Martin with Castillo in the irons. And then I'm going with the 10 in third. That'd be J.E.'s hand-me-down, who is an 8-year-old, but is off the claim for Asmussen and Rosario. Great connections, can close. I think you're going to see improvement from this horse based off of the claim and with Rosario in the iron. So I'm going 3, 4, 10 in the race at to close out the Oaklawn races on Saturday. In terms of the pick 5, and again, let me try to, as we're talking here, because I didn't have banners, I'm going to create a banner for everyone. I'm going to actually, as I'm talking right now, I'm going to go ahead and put my pick 5 up on the screen. If everyone just bears with me for one moment here, I'm going to go ahead and place my pick 5. As I'm doing that, again, I want to thank very much Walker Hancock, the president of Claiborne Farms. Hope you enjoy that conversation. I want to try to bring to everyone many different types of people on the show, and so I'm very happy to have Walker Hancock on as I'm about to go ahead and show my pick here. It's coming up right now, ladies and gentlemen. Here's my Caveman pick 5 ticket right there. There you go, folks. This is my Caveman pick 5 ticket Saturday at Oaklawn Park. You see I'm going pretty deep early. I'm going 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 with 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to single the 3 East Side Cool, and then I'm going to go only with Thomas Shelby and Fearless. Either Thomas Shelby wins wire to wire or Fearless comes over the top. There are many others in that race that can win, in my opinion, but I'm just going to go 2, 8 on a smaller ticket, and then I'll go 3, 4, 10 on the end. But that last race, I would definitely try to save some money. That is a $90 Caveman ticket, but of course, as all you know, I usually play ABC Ticketmaker. I'll go ahead and end the show with any questions or comments people have as I go ahead and put a banner on the screen for some promotions. Let me just go ahead and do that here. That's not the one I wanted. There we go. Sorry about that. So again, before I answer with some comments and questions, if you have any quick questions, feel free to put them up in the screen about Oaklawn or about my weekend or anything coming up at Keeneland. The next podcast we're going to have, we're going twice a week now. And by the way, the gentleman, Paul Hallard, who I've had on many times before, will be a frequent co-host or a guest with me, so to speak. We'll talk about the future of the HHH racing podcast because some exciting changes are going to be upcoming. We're going to see a lot more of Paul Halloran and Pete Visco on this show as well. Two fantastic guys who know horse racing and are just a pleasure to have on. So we'll be getting into that later. But next week, we have two podcasts, ladies and gentlemen. Next Tuesday, I'm going to talk about my trip at Keeneland this weekend, all the goods, all the bads. I'm involved in a big handicapping contest on Saturday. I'll incorporate that. I hope to show you some pictures and videos from Coolmore, America, where American Pharoah is, and at Claiborne. So there'll be sort of a little reminiscing over my weekend at Keeneland. But also on Tuesday, we're going to start talking about the Kentucky Oaks, which is going to be a fantastic race. It's not a deep dive, just a first look into the horses that are running the Kentucky Oaks and the horses that I'm most interested in right now. Of course, we don't have the post position draws. They'll draw the Oaks, I believe, on the Monday of Kentucky Derby week. That is happening next Tuesday. And then a week from tonight, we'll be taking a deep dive into the Santa Anita card, which will be a great card a week from this weekend. They have 4 great stake races at Santa Anita on April 30th. Real quick, we'll end the show with some questions here or comments. Let me just scroll down the screen here. Tom would like to know what time I'm going to be on TVG Sunday. Tom, I'm waiting to hear from Todd Schrupp tomorrow. They do their production work 48 hours in advance. I'm guessing it's going to be in the late afternoon because Todd Schrupp comes onto the set in the late afternoon. Complete guess right now, somewhere between 2:30 Eastern and 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to send out the time that I'm going to be on Twitter and on email, Tom. So look for me on Twitter or email, and I'll let everyone know the approximate time that I'll be live on set. Whew, be exciting. Live on set at Keeneland. Last question, we'll end the show. Charles B., what angle do you play at Keeneland in turf sprints? Charles, good question. The turf has not been speed favoring in general this meet at Keeneland, especially going a route. Going a route of ground, you're coming from behind. Turf sprints, obviously you can win on the lead. Now, Golden Pal, and I'm going off the top of my head, Golden Pal is the only horse I can think of right now that is just completely flattered, the speed angle, but Golden Pal is a complete freak. So in turf sprints, you always want to be somewhat up close. You don't want to be too far back, Charles, but they've been able to close on this turf course at Keeneland because they've been taking a decent amount of rain, although it's going to be 80 and sunny this weekend, so it's going to be absolutely gorgeous, and the turf's going to be firm. But in general, Charles, I would say you want to be, mid-pack. You don't want to be too far back. But in terms of turf sprints, Keeneland is the place to be if you have a closer for sure. There are a bunch of other questions. I'll be happy to go through them very quickly. Val Place, again, thanks for joining the show. He likes Shahama, which I believe is a Pletcher horse. Nest and Kathleen O. I like Nest quite a bit. Val Place, I'll talk about that next week. Nest is another horse for Pletcher, and Kathleen O was talked a little bit by Walker Hancock. Good luck, Val Place. I have no idea exactly what I'm playing yet, but I do have some strong opinions on certain horses. One last question here from Dean. I am not touring Godolphin. I'm going to be at Coolmore, America, Dean. I don't have the time to see too many farms, so I hope to go to Godolphin at some point. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up. Listen, I know there's some other questions. I really appreciate it. I have to pack. I have to catch a plane tomorrow. I've not packed yet. I've got to do a bunch of other things. I'm actually going to work tomorrow morning as well. So anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for joining me this evening. It's been a really fun show with Walker Hancock, the president of Claiborne Farms. I am ready for a very exciting weekend. Win or lose, no matter how my telecast goes, I know I'm going to have fun this weekend at Keeneland, and I can't wait to share all my Lexington stories with you guys on Tuesday. This has been Howard Kravitz and a fun-filled episode 129 of the HHH Racing Podcast. Thanks for joining me tonight. Good luck to everyone at Oaklawn and Keelan this weekend, and I look forward to seeing you all back here Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.